Welcome to CJ and DJ's Movie Reviews, your guide to movie reviews and what beer best pairs with them. Now, here are your hosts, CJ and DJ.
Welcome to CJ and DJ's Movie Reviews, your guide to movie reviews and what beer pairs best with them. I am your host, CJ, and as always, we got the co-host with the mo-host to my left, DJ.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how are you doing today, Deej?
I'm doing mighty fine because we just watched Spider-Man.
Oh, man, and what a great movie it was, guys. In this episode, we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's right.
And of course, guys, no spoilers in this, and at the very end, we're going to be pairing it with a beer.
Yep.
How's that sound?
Sounds so good. Oh, shit.
Sounds so good.
Yes.
Let's go ahead. We're going to give a little bit of a brief plot summary, no spoilers again, and kind of let you guys know what's happening in the movie, and then we'll hop into the review. Picking up 2 months after the events of Captain America's Civil War, Peter Parker is continuing his typical teenage life. He's got school, friends, and of course, since he's Spider-Man, he's got this small-town Brooklyn crime fighting going on.
Yeah, and while he's just enjoying his little life, as friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he runs into some bank robbers that are working with some pretty advanced weaponry.
Right, and now he has aspirations of being an Avenger. So Peter is thinking that he could take down this group with this advanced weaponry that they have, and he runs into their leader, the dreaded Vulture.
Yes, and now he's got to take down the Vulture and his goons, and he has to balance that with high school, his friends, Aunt May, and of course, Tony Stark. Now we have our movie.
They should all keep getting in the way.
Keep getting in the way.
All right, Deej, let's go ahead and get into it. We got our review going on. Let's go ahead and start throwing some things out. What'd you like?
Well, first and foremost, we have a third Spidey. So Tom Holland, how did he do? I really liked him. This is the first time we get to see one in high school, being a kid. He's 15, I think. And personally,
right, a sophomore.
Yes, I loved them both as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And before I say if he's better or worse, I mean, you can't really compare because this is a really different direction than what we usually get. And you can appreciate him on his own plane.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tom Holland really killed it.
Yeah.
And I think he blends like a really good cross between Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man that they had. You know, he's got a lot of the quips, but he still has a lot of the heart. He's not like a dick.
Yeah. And he's a real loser in this one.
Oh, yeah. I think the thing that I really liked about this Spider-Man, this iteration, was that he actually had friends.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't a real loner the entire time, you know.
Yeah, he did have friends, but he was still awkward. And it's kind of funny because he's always bullied. But he's not necessarily bullied by Jogs. I mean, sometimes he just gets teased.
Yeah. Just for being kind of like a goober almost, you know?
Yeah.
So it really made it feel like he was actually a kid, which I thought was really nice and refreshing compared to the other ones. Because the other ones, he was a senior in high school, and then he was in college in the second one.
Played by some old dudes.
Right. And played by some old dudes that were in their mid-20s.
Yeah, but you know what else was refreshing?
What was that?
Toons.
Birdman. Vulture.
Yes, the Vulture.
He
Michael Keaton
was
himself.
awesome.
Dude, I loved him.
He was so menacing, and he's probably the best villain that we've had in the MCU since Tom Hiddleston's Loki.
Yeah, it's about time. I mean, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, making some characters, some villains less interesting, but we get to see a little more depth in this character. You see a little bit more of his background and motives, and you care for him. I'm not saying you kind of pity him and wish he succeeds. I'm just saying dude, I like this villain. I know what he's going from, and yeah.
There is something about the way that Michael Keaton is, though. He just has that presence in a movie, and he just knocks it out of the park so good.
Yeah,
I just love it.
Yeah,
it's
he
awesome.
was written well, but he killed it for sure.
I feel like this was a really great movie overall. It had a lot of fun. It's really lighthearted, you know. I think that's one thing that all the MCU movies are really lighthearted, but this one felt the most lighthearted. Yeah. And I think it was because of the smaller setting. You know, Spider-Man is just in Queens or outside New York, or inside New York.
A nice summer high school flick.
Right. It definitely felt like a teen movie with that John Hughes feel.
Yeah.
Now, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the negatives, shall we?
All right. Let's start with you.
All right. So one thing that these aren't really negatives. These are just things I felt wanting more. And that I think that was the biggest thing, the problem I had with this movie is I was left wanting more, which is kind of a good thing to have in a movie, but it still felt like you weren't satisfied. So one thing that I thought that I really would have liked to expand it on and just got a little bit more meat was the origin of Spider-Man, even if it was just a simple conversation that they had.
Okay.
And not simple. I mean, like an actual conversation that they had, and he kind of just gives like a brief story of what happened or something like that. I think it would have been nice, and it was just because and it's so weird because we had two origins of Spider-Mans.
Yeah. Maybe they were just getting a little too cautious.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? People really getting on them for another origin. They're probably going to say, oh, these guys better not have another origin on their own. So I think that might be the reason why we didn't get even a hint at it. I'm just saying that's a reasoning. I'm not saying I disagree with you. And I actually saying I really do agree with you. When I was leaving, I did feel like not 100%. I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't satisfied because it was a great movie.
It was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
This movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but the only thing I could probably think about, it's not a critique. One thing that might have left me unsatisfied is just because you're going into this MCU movie, great track record. They're all going to be a lot of fun. And what do you know? This is a lot of fun. It is just in a crowded family of great movies. It's just hard to get blown away, I guess.
The only other thing I wanted to say is I felt like the relationships that Peter Parker had with a lot of his friends and with Aunt May felt like it could have been explored a little bit more. Right. I did enjoy his relationship with Tony. I felt like that was appropriate, and I did feel like Tony was used the appropriate amounts.
Yeah.
Which is good, because that was one of my concerns, was that Tony was going to be very prominently featured, and he's not, which is great. He still has his part, and they used him enough. Other than that, though, a lot of the relationships, I just felt like could have been expanded on a little bit more, and I think I would have appreciated a little bit more of a dynamic between him and his Aunt May, that is basically his mother that he's had, for however many years. And they did, we got notes of it, but it kind of would have been nice to have a little bit more. But these are just small critiques that I think I have.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't get, lost in them.
Yeah, it's
so much fun.
Yeah, it didn't hit me when I was watching. When you're pointing them out, I can agree, but that wasn't distracting. It wasn't distracting either of us.
You have any other thoughts in this?
Just that another part besides him just being young, a new take of Spider-Man, I did like how they were. It is a little bit about growing up, trying to fit in. They did capture a lot of the high school where he wants to make friends. He has that crush.
I thought that was really fun. I really did like that.
Because you and I are both the youngest of our siblings, and I kind of felt for him. Like, he's like, come on, treat me like an adult. It's like, but dude, you're a kid. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, definitely.
But one thing the only thing I wanted to point out, I think this last thing is there was a point in the movie where I'm like, oh, this is getting a little bit more predictable. I'm a little underwhelmed. I wasn't not enjoying it, but as soon as that part hit, it kind of shifted gears, and it became a much better movie throughout the end. Yeah. And it
was a little predictable.
Unsurprising.
It was a little predictable, but you are having so much fun in the movie that I think it's easy to just kind of let it slide.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't overstate how much fun I had in this movie. We have problems with it. It's not a perfect movie, but there's a lot of fun to be had. And, the last point that I want to bring up is, in a year of so many comic book movies and so many great ones too, this is probably my third one of the year, third best one out of the year so far, behind Logan and Wonder Woman.
I'm still debating between Wonder Woman because I really liked the Spider-Man third act, and I really didn't like the Wonder Woman third act, but they're both pretty awesome, honestly.
I think there's a little bit more importance that gives it a little bit more weight, I think, in my opinion.
For sure. The fate of the DCEU.
But they're really close. They are really close. I had a lot of fun. Again, I cannot overstate how much fun I had in this movie.
And it's what you get with typical MCU movies. There are a lot of Easter eggs. They do reference a bunch of things in the comics, even though they do take some artistic liberties. You'll see a lot of those once you see the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, Deej, so let's go ahead and get into it. What's going to be our rating for this? Our new rating, actually.
Yep, and I'm going to give it a 1 beer buzz. I only need 1 beer. That buzz will get rid of all the flaws. This is going to be a perfect movie.
Exactly, and I think I gave it the same rating as you, a 1 beer buzz. I really enjoyed this movie, and yeah, there are problems with it. It's not a perfect movie, but it's so much fun that 1 beer is just going to go ahead and make you forget everything like you just said. And have a lot of fun with it, and I think it was really great.
Yep.
All right, Deej, our beer that we paired it with here is a nice, light, refreshing beer, pale ale that we have here to match a really well done, fun, refreshing take on a new Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
Lighthearted take.
Lighthearted take. I drank this in high school.
Yeah,
No, I
and it's low alcohol percentage for all you teenagers.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Teenagers don't drink. Be 21. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. We gave it a 1 beer buzz. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment line. Go ahead and do it. Like this video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check out our social media stuff. It's all going to be down in the bio. I'm not going to list it all off to you. DJ, let's go ahead and top this off. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, Movie Brewers, crack open a cold one and watch a movie. Hey everyone, did you like that video? Well, click here to watch more.
Or if you want to check out some other great content, click right here.
And lastly, if you want to stay up to date on everything Movie Brewhouse Productions, subscribe right here.
Bet you can't decide before we finish this beer.